I'm here on a breezy, slightly rainy day, and I'm down on the beach. I just felt so stir crazy in the house that I had to get away from my computer and get some fresh air. And I've been gathering a very substantial fan base on the beach. I have Sam, the seagull. As you can see, Sam has blueberry muffin crumbs on his beak. So this fan base has been acquired by payment. But he's watching and hoping, or she, I think she, is watching and hoping that there will be more of the same. Expectations, Sam's full of them. Let's talk about that today though, because it's a time of year that I feel many people feel tremendously pressured. And if Christmas is your tradition, then that will no doubt add to that. But even just generally the time of year when there's less daylight, the days are shorter, and it's just exhausting, I think. I think that we're meant to hibernate, actually, in some fashion. Certainly, it's a good time for being reflective and going within yourself. But nevertheless, I'm going to get to the point. How do we meet other people's expectations? What's our relationship to that? So I'd like to talk about that. One of the things I've noticed is that often the expectations that we feel we have on ourselves, first of all, they come from, as I've said so many times, a construct. They're perhaps cultural, they could be family-based expectations, but nevertheless, they're a set of unspoken or spoken almost rules that we are expected to follow. You're expected to give gifts to people, you're expected to produce a meal, you're expected to be happy. That one alone, crushing for so many people. So much that isn't actually anything to do with being real, true to who you are, or being in the moment. So in terms of those expectations, you do have a choice. Now I know you know that, but it doesn't feel like you have a choice. Many people counter when I say things like, well, what if you didn't do that, for example? Oh, but I have to because my whoever, friend, mother, cousin would be so hurt if I didn't do that. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you suddenly become a callous person and stop considering the feelings of other people, but you're actually reacting without knowing it. You're coming from a place of not good enough. If somebody offers you something, let's say some food that you were allergic to, would you feel you had to eat it? Or would you feel comfortable to say, oh, thank you, but I can't, I'm allergic to that food? And I think most people would say comfortably, no, thank you. It's actually no different. The expectations that we do these things that we think we have to do, they're not coming from other people. They're coming from within ourselves. It might be triggered by an external, as in another human being saying this to you, but it's actually coming from you. And the fear of hurting someone else is actually, to unravel it, is fear of hurting yourself. It's that you will not be validated or approved of by that person if you do this thing. So separate out where the expectations are coming from. That's what I found really beneficial, and meet the not good enough and the fear of not being validated. And when you do that, I know I keep saying meet. I hope you know by now what that means. It's my way of saying just let yourself feel that thing. Don't think it. Anything you're doing in your head is not emotion. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself become at peace with it, accept it. And normally what happens is that you will harmonize with that. And it allows you to come from a place then, as long as you sort of breathe into this moment and you're not reviewing the past scenario that created that in the first place, or projecting into the future, it will allow you to respond as opposed to react, which is really helpful. So that's one thing I can say about expectations. What else do I want to say around that? Well, here, I'll give you a few stories that are really illustrative. So I have a client who decided, because Christmas is a traumatic affair for her, actually. Her family circumstances are not very easy for anybody to cope with, and not especially pleasant. And so she has found that this year, and last year I think too, that she decided to absent herself from those particular parts of the celebration. She meets with individual family members that she wishes to see independently, but she's spending Christmas with friends that she loves to be with. They make a big meal and they have a fantastic time. And so Christmas has taken on a new meaning for her. I have another client that I'm thinking about, because I like to learn from the stories or the experiences of other people. She's very ceremonial. She's very, very artistic and very ceremonial. And she always brings this special quality to every occasion because she goes right to the very root of it and likes it to be representative of what that occasion is all about. And so I haven't spoken to her about Christmas as yet, but certainly on previous family type holidays and or occasions to mark, she's found that just putting her own spin on it and celebrating in a different way, making it whatever she wants and breaking whatever rules she wants to along the way, making new traditions, has actually given all of these events new significance, breathed new life into it. I know that there's an odd gift that comes from illness. Many people I've spoken to who've had serious or long-term illness have said that they, what it does is it strips down. Obviously they're not, being as they're dealing with something else and something substantial, they're not able to respond to these occasions in the way that they always used to. And so there's a wisdom in that too, because what has happened is, due to their health being not peak, let's say, it has allowed them to see what's really important. It's given them a sense of priorities, and I think that's a wisdom that we could all learn from. So in my own case, I used to make this time of year very stressful for myself, actually. And as the years have gone on, and like many people in my age group as well, it's a natural stripping of those things that we once thought were important. It's a process that happens automatically, whether you're on a sort of awakening journey or not. But I amazed myself last year by not having a Christmas tree because I just didn't feel it. I thought, I don't know, this isn't a thing for me. What appears to be a thing for me is the little lights that you put on the tree, little fairy lights. And so that's what I do. I decorate my house in fairy lights if I want to, because I love the light. And I do or do not do the Christmas tree. We shall see. I used to cook a meal, and that was also a thing, but my daughter loves cooking, so she cooks now. She makes it very special for us. What I'm trying to say is, it doesn't really matter what you do, and it isn't even about Christmas. It's about the expectations you place on yourself. So always, always, when you're afraid of hurting another, you're actually afraid of hurting yourself. So let that reveal itself to you, and it will allow you to respond to things from an authentic place, as opposed to coming from a sense of not good enough. I hope this helps. By all means, contact me if I can shed any light on this for you, or if you have anything to share, I'd love to hear it. I'll leave you with a little bit of the beach and the noisy airplane, and I wish you very well from myself and my fan base.